Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another daily cryptocurrency video. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get right into the information today. This is just going to be some high-level thoughts, news, and basically not as exciting as the last video, but I want to keep you up to date with daily information. So right here, we got Philip Nunn, and basically industries with blockchain and crypto that it will disrupt. Now keep in mind, distributed ledger technology is a beast in its own right, and blockchain is simply one part of DLT, and then cryptocurrency is more so the way to transmit this value, this transfer of value within the blockchain. Now, these sectors, public and private as well, that we believe it will disrupt and is already disrupting. For anyone that's working with global companies now, it should be no surprise. I'm sure many of you have done some training if you're in IT or technology. That you're getting notifications about blockchain. You're hearing that new hot word, and essentially looking to disrupt. I think it'll go far beyond just this and truly renovate everything. But banking, healthcare, politics, real estate, legal, accounting, security, government, charities, education, media and entertainment, supply chain, accounting, recruitment. I think you can arguably say that this is going to be one of the largest disruptors. And just like speculating what social media was in the pre-internet era, this is the same manner. We cannot, it's so hard to speculate. It's almost a waste of time, but it's entertaining for sure. I mean, obviously in banking with ledgers and getting rid of intermediaries, there's no more central authority. With healthcare, even politics with voting mechanisms, in a trustless environment, everything is immutable. Especially with, for example, the XRP ledger's consensus mechanism. I'm very curious to see if there's anything that we can innovate beyond that. I mean, especially in terms of decentralization, is there something that can be truly decentralized, or can we really just try to get as close as we can to being as much distributed as possible? So I think there's going to be a lot of things that we are going to face as a society and a lot of innovation along the way. So again, we will see. Regarding that though, I did see someone talking earlier on, and they were just saying, like, coming from a very strong and early Bitcoin supporter that, has been buying and selling since many people haven't even heard of it. I'm assuming maybe around like 2013. That's what I would, even a 2014 Bitcoiner is someone I would consider to be relatively early to the party just based on the price move. But basically, they flat out say, if Bitcoin's going to become a world reserve currency or even be widely used as a payments network, you are delusional. Bitcoin is, in my opinion, it can be here to stay if regulations don't completely crush it, if it's not completely centralized by these Chinese mining pools and they don't have, a bad agenda. And I think, obviously, with the rewards mining and the mining rewards changing with the halving, it's entirely possible that Bitcoin could see some upside. But again, to me, it's just not worth the risk. I hold a very, very small amount, but in my opinion, I think those cryptocurrencies and digital assets that are working within regulations, working with the banks and governments, actually solving true problems and not trying to go 100% anarchist, which to me is impractical. Like many of you, I'm here to make money. None of this is financial advice. This is just one man's opinion. But I think that those assets that are solving particular use cases are going to see the highest return of investment. Just my thoughts, but I believe many people share that same sentiment. All right, right here, I highly recommend you guys. I was just sharing a screenshot the other night. I was reading a few hours just on XRPL.org. This is the XRP Ledger website. For anyone that just wants to understand the technicalities, highly recommend it. If you don't care and you just want to know if it's legitimate or not, an XRP, obviously, this is part of doing your own research, especially during this 19-month bear market. I recommend, whether you want to learn to trade, whether you want to learn more about cryptocurrency, learn about the technicals, learning about risk management, even just some type of self-improvement and mastering your own psychology. I think it's important to learn and read about this. So I try to. There's a lot of things I don't know. I'll be completely transparent. If I don't have the answer to something, I'll say, hey, I honestly do not know, but I bet I know someone that does. And I'll go and ask around. But one thing that caught my attention in particular, and I've seen this before, of course, is just regarding this right here. So there must be at least one path between the sender and the receiver, and the total liquidity across all paths must be enough to facilitate the payment. Cross-currency payments convert from one currency to another by consuming offers in the XRP Ledger's decentralized exchange. And again, for those of you that don't know, XRP does have their own decentralized exchange right on the XRP Ledger. So you can refer to this as a DEX. And I find this really interesting. So again, just like exchanges, we need to build liquidity within this ecosystem as well to make sure that offers are consumed, there's not as much consumption slippage, and that all the use cases of any projects built on the XRP ledger make sense in the long run. All right, so auto bridging is another little fun fact. So cross-currency payments that exchange two issued currencies automatically use XRP when it decreases the cost of payment. All right, that is what we want. When XRP is the cheapest option, these cross-currency paths will automatically utilize XRP, cough, cough, using demand. We want XRP flowing as much as possible. We want overlap for transactions. That is the key that will drive this high volume, which will drive demand. All right. Now, by connecting order books to deepen the pool of available liquidity, for example, a payment sending from US dollar to the Mexican peso automatically converts to USD to XRP, and then this XRP goes right back to the Mexican peso if doing so is cheaper than actually just converting USD to Mexican peso directly. And again, this type of atomic swap technology. So keep that in mind. We want deep order books, essentially meaning tons of liquidity on the XRP's decentralized exchange, the DEX. Right here, Bank XRP. I watched this video earlier. Really cool. So again, the Internet of Value, blockchain, and interledger protocol, not only bridging all types of value, but actually interledger between ledgers, actually bridging different ledgers as well. That is the key, especially with, ACH and SEPA or SEPA, however you pronounce that, bridging these networks so that they can interoperate. So right here, the internet is connecting people and things. The Internet of Value is a game changer. Micropayments, pay as you use, of course, which will be huge. And we can even talk about micro loans for emerging markets and developing countries, real-time liquidity optimization, decentralized finance or DeFi, and then interoperability. And essentially, interoperability is going to be the key to all of this to truly facilitate a standardized platform, standardized messaging, standardized language, so that everything can interoperate and communicate efficiently. Right here, XRP Crypto Wolf. Fidelity Investments has 2.8 trillion in assets, and it's fully ramping up their cryptocurrency custody and trading services for Bitcoin. So I don't know about fully ramping up, but again, Fidelity is a monster to keep an eye on. We know that Vanguard has been getting into the space and ramping things up. We've seen with the guys at SPQR, some top-notch researchers connect the dots between Vanguard and how well connected they are. I'd imagine Fidelity is right up there with them. And again, Fidelity CEO expects full rollout of services for crypto assets to be a boon for the crypto custody space. A boon, might be a boom, I'm not sure. But essentially, guys, looking forward, keep an eye out on Fidelity. XRP Crypto Wolf again. So we got Ripple's Spring, Xpring, and it's Spring, invested in Toho Labs. Congrats to Rare Data. Software engineer. I guess I'm already following this guy. But anyways, Ripple's Spring Development supports Toho Labs' development of hardware wallet firmware support for all XRP Ledger transaction types, and a trustless, non-custodial web interface for the XRP Ledger. And what I wanted to basically go over right here is, of course, Ledger Nano S, Ledger Nano X, and even the Trezor T wallets. Now, today's existing firmware only supports XRP payment transactions, which in some cases block further XRP Ledger and interledger innovation. This new firmware, however, will support the signing of cross-currency payments, trust lines, escrows, orders, payment channels, account settings, and so forth. And that's something I want to deep dive more into, is payment channels. And again, even with XRP, with blockchain, we have to pay attention to, of course, scalability with TPS transactions per second, but we have to consider the on-chain transaction, or TPS, and then the off-chain TPS, and how far we can truly scale this. Because with certain types of hardware, we can actually match a lot of the huge players today. And again, I think it's simply a matter of time. I know Bitcoin is trying to scale from, less than 10 transactions per second on a good day, but XRP is already starting from 1,500. So I think we have a little head start in that regard. And basically, that is what I wanted to cover. Now, guys, one thing I want to emphasize is there are links in the description for at least the Ledger Nano wallets. Now, this is cold storage. If you plan to hold long term as an investor, this is the only way you can 100% own your assets since you hold your own private keys. If your assets are on an exchange, you do not hold these private keys. These are not your cryptocurrencies. You have no way to actually verify they're even there until you withdraw them and get them into your own wallet. Now, you never know when a certain exchange, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, I just want you to know, you never know when a certain exchange is going to get hit by regulations. It could potentially get hacked like we've seen many times in the past. And to me, it's just not worth the risk. And for a $50 cold storage wallet that you can literally order, you don't have to use my link. You can go Google it. I'm just saying, because I'll literally make a few bucks off it for referring this to you. And again, making YouTube videos, I literally just get paid on ad revenue. So any support is appreciated. But for a $50 wallet that can securely store an investment of whatever assets you have, whether it's XRP, any type of altcoin, Bitcoin, that can potentially increase by thousands of percent and be worth millions, I'd say it's worth the risk. And that's why I personally have several. I highly recommend it, guys. You do not need to know several, but again, you've heard me on my other channel talk about all the precautions and tips that I have for the upcoming bull run. If you have not seen that video, guys, go to my channel right now and look at the other channels I support, and you'll see my second channel going over that. It's a must-see. I think a lot of you have seen it already, but I think there's a lot of great tips, and then a lot of people in the comments actually come back with some great tips that I wasn't even aware of as well. So with that, guys, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.